Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the highest growing podcast in America, Casale's Corner. Now, today, everybody was looking forward to the introduction of Rocco and Rocco's therapy segment of our special guest, but unfortunately, our special guest has a football game today, so he will not be able to get on. But we don't let these things stop us here at Casale's Corner. We found another special guest, and listen, ladies and gentlemen, I think you will be thrilled. But that's going to come at the end of the show. Other topics that we will be discussing today will be Crown Jewel Perf, the WWE event that happened this weekend, and all the NFL games that went down. So let's settle in and get ready for another great podcast. Okay, now before we dive into wrestling and football, there's been a heated debate on X about me and the Grizz. People saying that we're the same person. Well, that question will be put to rest at the end of this podcast. But just had to get that out there in the open that we are obviously not. Pretty odd debate going on there. Speaking of the Grizz, you'll hear more about this later on, but his lawsuit against Brian Adams hasn't been dropped yet, hasn't been picked up. Kind of in a standstill there, but you'll hear more about that later. Now, let's get into football. Big games. Obviously, there's 2 Monday night games tonight, but let's talk about the Sunday night game last night between the Chiefs and Lions. It was closer for a while, but the Chiefs pulling away. Patrick Mahomes has just put this whole team on his back and is leading them to a victory there. The Lions struggled to run the ball in that game. It just kind of fell apart there in the second half for him. Patrick Mahomes went up 30 points, but he wasn't the only one. Cam Scatterbo putting up 33 points, massive day. That was the Thursday night game against the Eagles. The Eagles have fallen apart, and hopefully they can pick up the pieces. I'm not sure if they can, but just falling apart, and we need a new offense coordinator. I don't know if he'll get fired by the end of the season or what, or wait till the off season, but nobody's happy. The offense looks like crap. Vic Fangio has the defense ready to go, keeping it close with teams, for the first little bit, but then the defense gets worn down because the offense can't do anything. So, yeah, we'll get our special guest's opinion about the Eagles later on, but just a miserable performance against the Giants. Other notable games, the Broncos winning the international game against the Jets. Jets are 0-6. Terrible job by Aaron Glenn over there. The Chargers also winning in their game, so that division is really close. A division that is not close, however, is the AFC North. The Steelers, who looks to be the favorites to win right now, as the Ravens took another loss this weekend, and Browns and Bengals both lost as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the Bengals were doing. They brought in Flacco. That doesn't look like a team that's trying to get into the playoffs. Why not just trade for Jameis Winston? But interesting development there. I don't think anybody would have said the Steelers would be leading the division right now, but they are. And it looks like Mike Tomlin's going to get that team in the playoffs again. So, and probably win the division, unless when Lamar comes back, the Ravens don't lose a game. But I don't really see that happening. So that was kind of our NFL news. Not much happening there. Brian Thomas for fantasy finally got on page with Trevor Lawrence. He got 20 points. Let's talk about injuries though. Abuka suffered a hamstring injury in the Bucks game, and Nakua also suffered an injury. So those two probably won't be playing next week if you have them on your fantasy teams. Also notable that both the Ravens and the Bills have bye weeks next week for your fantasy team, so make sure you get those guys out of there. But yeah, that's basically it for football. There's not much more that we got to talk about there. Let's go over to wrestling. Crown Jewel Perf was just absolutely amazing. Great matchup. Cena would pick up the victory there. John Cena has, I think, 3 more dates, a Raw Survivor Series, and his final match Saturday night's main event. So, yeah, I mean, it's coming to an end, pretty fast there. Another marquee match, Roman Reigns lost to Bronson Reed with that Jey Uso spear. I'm not really sure where this is heading. I'll tell you what, though, pretty bored of it. So, Roman Reigns shouldn't even have fought Bronson Reed at pay-per-view to begin with, and he's had 2 matches with him. Like, let's wrap this up now. Speaking of the division, though, Seth Rollins would beat Cody Rhodes. He used brass knuckles to cheat and become the Crown Jewel champion. Stephanie Vaquer beat Tiffany Stratton to also become Crown Jewel champion. So, pretty good. That Rollins match was a really great match against Cody Rhodes. My one problem right now that I have with WWE overall is, where is Brock Lesnar? Where's that going? He comes in, he kills John Cena, he was with Heyman, and now, like, where is he? Just disappeared? So, yeah, I want to see something with Lesnar coming up here. Maybe he comes at Survivor Series, maybe he comes back in the room. I don't know. But he had that great return, and he had that one match with Cena, and I haven't seen him since. So, definitely have to start something up there. Some people talk about on X, will John Cena be in the Survivor Series matchup? No. There is no way John Cena will be in that War Games match. Definitely not. No, maybe he'll ref or something, but no, there's no way that John Cena will be competing in that match. So, we're going to check out Raw tonight and those Monday night games for the NFL, and we'll talk about those on next week's podcast. And next week, everybody, remember, Therapy Time with Rocco, and our special guest will be on. This usually would be the time that we take the commercial break, but obviously Coca-Cola backed out with us, side of Brian Adams, blah, blah, blah. I talked about it on the last podcast, don't need to go through it again, but we have not found another sponsor for this week. We're trying to get a deal done. Hopefully by next week, we will get one. But now, as you've all been waiting for, when we come back, our special guest will be on air. Okay, special guest. Hey, how's it going? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Grizz. Hey, you bet you do. I made time in my busy schedule to come on the greatest podcast in America and talk to all my fans. So, Grizz, how's your knee been feeling after that injury that you suffered? Hey, brother, it's fine. It's healing up good. Yeah, there it is right there in the brace. See? It's healing fast. It's good. The Grizz gets reevaluated by his doctor tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. He's coming back soon. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Now, Grizz, any news on that lawsuit that you filed against Brian Adams about the summer of '89? Obviously, we know you have that patent that you're the only one that can sing 89 in a song. You want to tell us something about that? Brother, that Brian Adams, he's too scared to go on a lawsuit against me because he knows I'm right. One of the greatest songwriters of our generation. You got the animal noises, you got It's True, and you have the 89 song, and he knows that. He knows that song is way better than his, and that's why he's not entering into the lawsuit. But if he doesn't in a couple weeks, we'll call it a tie. I'll back off of him. You don't want to embarrass him. So, yeah, we'll see what goes down. Okay, Grizz, let's talk about some NFL. We obviously know you're an Eagles fan. What do you have to say about them? The Eagles are a goddamn disaster. They are the worst I've ever seen them. Get that offensive coordinator out of there. If A.J. Brown doesn't want to play for us, get him off the goddamn team. I cannot believe what I saw on Thursday. That was embarrassing, and they better fix it, or else we're just going to lose the first round of the playoffs. We don't even know if we're going to win the goddamn division. So, Listen, brother, they better get something right, or else the Grizz is gonna march all the way down there, and he's gonna demand some changes. I don't care if we need a new quarterback, new head coach, we gotta do something, because that Eagles team looked like shit. Okay, well, fired up there, guys. I mean, I would be too if I was a Eagles fan right now. Do you have any other, NFL predictions? Anything else you want to say about the NFL? Anything that, sparked your eye about it? Oh yeah, the Grizz has a prediction for you, baby. We got Baker Mayfield, Mr. MVP. He's gonna win the MVP this year. Put it in the books. Like Grizz was the first one to say. Now, Grizz, obviously you saw the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. And John Cena only has 3 dates left. Who do you think will be John Cena's last opponent? Some people say Brock Lesnar. Some people say Dominic Mysterio. What do you think? I don't think it's going to be Brock Lesnar. I don't think it's even going to be Dominic Mysterio. I will give you one name, and it might shock a couple people. Chris Jericho, baby. He's going to be John Cena's last opponent. He ain't under contract with AEW, and it's been a couple months now. John Cena, Chris Jericho, Saturday night's main event. Mark it in the books right now. Well, that could very well happen. Obviously, as you said, he's not under contract right now. So that would be a great last opponent for John Cena. Thank you for your time, Grizz. It has been great catching up with you. We know your busy schedule, and after this, I think people can definitely say that we are two completely different people. Thanks for being on the show. Hope you come back soon. Hey, the Grizz had a great time. Thanks for having me. Had that crap 2 different people thing? Yeah, definitely. These people are just bored on X and, starting a bunch of arguments. But yeah, clearly 2 different people. Thanks for having me on the show, Crusher. Hope to be back soon. Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Casale's Corner podcast for this week. Hope everybody enjoyed. And remember, next week, therapy time with Rocco, and we will have our special guest on that week. But I think this was a very successful podcast. As you can see, we've destroyed the debate on X. Me and the Grizz are 2 different people. I mean, obviously, right? He's got a freaking knee brace on, and I don't. He's walking around with crutches. I'm perfectly fine. He's got a mohawk, and see. So, he wears leather jackets and chains, and sunglasses. I hate sunglasses. I think they destroy your vision. Chains, they hurt my neck. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely 2 different people. I don't know where the argument came about, but it's been settled here on Casale's Corner. I'm your host, Casale the Crusher, and I think this was another successful podcast. See you next week.